Hello everybody, it's Josie here. I'm going to be doing a standalone book review today for a book that I have recently read. It is non-fiction November, so it is a non-fiction book, it's a memoir, and I wanted to do a standalone for this because A, I love the book, but B, I adore the subjects of the book, so the two people that wrote the book. And the book I'm talking about is this gorgeous one here. It is High School by Tegan and Sara Quinn. So, those of you that don't know who Tegan and Sara are, they are twin sisters. They are from Canada and they are wonderful, amazing musicians. And they've been making music now for 20 years, which just, first of all, makes me realise how old I am. But also, 20 years, it's like, that's gone really quickly. And what they've done is they've released this book, High School, which is talking about their experiences growing up in the 90s in high school, how they discovered music, how they discovered the guitar, how they discovered kind of their musical talent and started writing music and kind of brought them to where they are today. 9 albums later. They've also got an album that goes along with this, so all the songs that they wrote, they kind of discovered all these tapes and that were songs that they wrote when they were in high school during this period that's covered in the book, and they've turned that into an amazing album as well. And I was very lucky to go see them last night, so I'm still on a massive high. They're also doing a tour to accompany the book and the album, and it's really amazing, it's really intimate, and it's all acoustic, and I went to go see it here in Brighton in the Theatre Royal, kind of had sort of stalls tickets, which is amazing. It was kind of really a very intimate venue. They read excerpts of the book, and then they do some songs, some of the new songs from high school and some of the older, very well-known songs as well, from their career during this performance, and it's so good and it's so deeply personal. So this book centers around, like I said, it's set in the 90s, so again, obviously resonates very much with me. And I love reading anything set in the 90s time period anyway. But this is kind of following the experiences. So it talks a lot about coming out as well, and coming out as gay. So within the book, Sara will talk about how she came out, and then Tegan as well, and it's incredibly poignant, incredibly deep and personal in some places, and must have been quite difficult sometimes to write these things, and also how they relate as sisters, you know, that bond of not only sisters but twins, and you know, trying to almost carve your own identity when you're a twin. That can be really difficult because people just constantly lump you in together like you're one person, but you're not, obviously. And you know, kind of struggling against that. There's a lot of references, so I suppose trigger warning, to drugs and drug taking, because that was something that they were both heavily into when they were in high school. And then, of course, kind of their discovery and their love of music. One day they found their stepfather's guitar in the basement, and they both started sort of secretly playing it, and then realized that they were both playing it and they were writing songs, and then they started writing songs together. And when you hear some of these songs that they wrote when they were teenagers, they're so good. They clearly have just innate musical talent. And also that kind of a struggle for identity, being different in high school as well, not necessarily being like all the other girls in the sense that the clothes that we're wearing, you know, the image that they were projecting, it wasn't necessarily what most of the girls are doing at the time. So just kind of struggling with your own identity. And there's beautiful descriptions in here of Sara essentially falling in love with her best friend for the first time and what that meant, and kind of struggling through that, and it's just amazing. And then obviously the musical references as well, so kind of their formative musical references are very similar to mine. So Hole is my favorite band, Nirvana, Green Day, Annie DeFranco, so they're big influences, the Smashing Pumpkins, in their musical development, and you know, kind of in my musical taste as well. So it was wonderful reading that and kind of relating to that, and again relating to the time period, because I think the 90s were the last sort of time period where we didn't have that overflow with social media and the internet so much. It was still all very analog and very real world, and you know, you had to actually, you know, form relationships with people in the real world, which seems to be a foreign concept sometimes nowadays. But it's just beautiful. And like I said, I just think it's so frank and honest and open about their experiences, and about, you know, particularly around, you know, coming out and accepting yourself for who you are. it's a wonderful, wonderful book, and like I said, everything kind of accompanying this. And if you haven't heard Sara and Tegan's music, please go and iTunes, Spotify, wherever it is, go and listen to it, because their music is fantastic. But if you just want to read a really interesting memoir, if you're looking for something to read for Nonfiction November, hugely recommend this. If you're interested in any of those topics, if you're a child of the 90s like me, it is fantastic. It's like a 5-star read for me, because why would it not be? So I loved it, and also watching, if you get a chance, and if you like Tegan and Sara, if you get a chance to watch their tour that goes along with this, it's so poignant, it's so good, and it has some really funny moments in it as well, and it's just phenomenal. So highly recommend sort of everything about Tegan and Sara, but this book is fantastic, and definitely one that I would recommend if you're LGBTQIA particularly plus, but yep, just for anybody, maybe a teenage girl in your life would appreciate this as well. Great memoir, really good, really interesting, and yeah, 5-star read for me, so go out and get it. I recommend it. Let me know what you think if you've read it. Let me know if you're a Tegan and Sara fan, because I am. And if you have any other recommendations for Nonfiction November in terms of like really good biographies and memoirs, let me know. And I will speak to you all again very soon. Bye-bye.